What is up, everybody? This is Trent with Sally'sPitReport.com. We are here in Charlotte, technically covering the show at Amos's, the Sumerian 10-year tour. Today we're at Bad Omens, but today it's raining outside, and we're here, I think, a hot taco. So it's this random taco joint sitting right in here. You were here earlier, didn't you? How was it?
It was really great eating here. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, there's two of them.
It was really great eating here. It's a great taco spot. I'd give it a good review on Yelp. If you come here, they're letting us film here, this interview, so come and check it out and eat some food here, I guess.
Yeah, touring bands come through here and tip your bartender and all that. But yeah, who are we talking to today? Who are you guys exactly?
I'm Noah. I sing in Bad Omens, and this is...
I'm Vincent. I play bass for Bad Omens.
Now, Noah, you may not know me, but I've known about you for a couple years now because I come from a little town called Danville, Virginia. And I remember some bands you played in back in the day and stuff, and it's interesting to see how far you guys have come. Like, you know, I think everybody in those bands has done something pretty big at some point, and so that's pretty interesting. So, how in the world did you end up from, like, you know, local Virginia bands into a signed band on Sumerian Records?
That's quite an interesting story. It's really cool that you're familiar with
Plan
my
B,
background.
exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool that you know that. I mean, ever since I was in high school, I was playing music like locally and touring, and I actually dropped out of high school to tour in my last band, who I will not name because
I know, but
I
I'm not
don't
going to say
even want to
it.
give them any. You know, the Exit Wounds is about them, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay. Shout out.
Yeah. Well, I quit that band and I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to write my own music and play music that I connected with personally, you know, both lyrically and musically. Like, obviously, I loved that music, otherwise I wouldn't have played it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do my own thing and something that I could be more proud of, that I could call my own.
Okay.
And that's why I quit. And that was a little over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And this band all started in I was working in a tattoo shop, and my manager at the time was nice enough to let me and Nick, our guitar player, sleep in her guest room. And it just started with me, a guitar, a laptop, and a cheap little Line 6 interface. And I just demoed out a bunch of songs. And from there, I recorded a whole EP. Over time, I got in touch through mutual friends and, like, in the city, like our promoters and stuff, our manager.
Is it still in Virginia or is it somewhere else?
This is still in Virginia at the time, Richmond, Virginia. You know, over time, I, you know, met people and networked, and like my good friend Davis, he works for the same company that manages us, and he pushed our music to our current manager, Jason Malhoit.
Okay. Who,
you know, has done wonders for our band.
Nice.
You know, I'd like to give him a shout out. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. And you know, it was all like a DIY project, writing and recording, and, you know, just going back and forth with an EP.
Okay.
Until we got, you know, recognized by the manager, and, you know, from there, he pushed us really hard with, like, various labels.
Yeah.
We were talking to a couple labels, and they all loved the songs a lot. They loved the demos, and we ended up settling with not settling. That sounds very bad.
Oh, we settled.
Not settling. By no means settling. Sumerian Records. I'm wearing their hoodie right now.
Yes.
I love Sumerian Records. But we ended up signing with Sumerian Records.
Okay.
And ever since then, man, it's been a wild ride and a lot of work. After we signed with Sumerian Records, you know, throughout that whole process is when the band really began to form.
Okay.
You know, I lived with Nick. He was my best friend, and I was like, he played guitar. So I was like, yo, get on board, play guitar in my band. You know, Nick and Vincent both tattoo, and they sometimes tattooed in the same shop.
Okay.
And he plays bass, and so naturally that connection was made, and now him and I are best friends.
Nice.
And yeah, man, the band just kind of over time it was like a construction, you know. It just kind of built brick by brick and came together as a full thing, you know. He brought on board Joachim, our guitar player, who's not here on tour with us right now. He's in Sweden. We're working on getting him in America.
Okay.
But yeah, then we met Nick Folio, our drummer, who is by far one of the most impressive drummers I've ever met, especially for his age. He's only 18, and he's a madman.
Oh, wow.
He actually turned 18 in the studio, like while we were recording our full-length
album.
my
God.
He turned 18.
Yeah, he turned 18 while we were in the studio.
It's not legal.
And yeah, man, after signing with Sumerian, it just it was a process of writing and recording, and everyone else kind of got more involved writing too at that point because they had great influences and ideas as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take all the credit there, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole record, it hasn't been announced yet, but it's got flavors from all kinds of influences.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really excited for everyone to hear it.
Yeah. Now, Vincent, what was it like getting the call that you were going to be in a band already signed to Sumerian Records? Like what? Like how like when you got the text, email, whatever, phone call? Like, what was your reaction to that?
It's pretty crazy how it worked out because I remember being in the car with Nick and him being like, "Yeah, dude, like if you want to play, I just talked to Noah. It's totally cool." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And at the time, like I was just tattooing. I was looking for something to do outside of that. I wanted a hobby.
Yeah.
And this was my birthday 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that.
Okay.
That night, like met with the manager. I was like, whoa, I've never been in a band with a manager. What the hell is going on? Like it was just from the moment I got invited to play for Bad Omens, it just became a torrential whirlwind, man.
Yeah.
Like it was just game on, like
Yeah.
instantly. It was wild.
Yeah. So go through the band name, Bad Omens, and I'm sure you guys have seen the YouTube comments a lot. You guys are getting compared to like the Bring Me the Horizon, that kind of thing. So who's some influences you guys have and where the name Bad Omens come from?
As far as influences, you know, I'm a little younger than the rest of the guys, but we all grew up listening to the same bands primarily, you know, like Breaking Benjamin, Linkin Park, Disturbed was a big one for me. You know, Deftones for sure. There's a lot of Deftones influence. Mad respect and love for that band.
Yeah.
Totally genius. And as surprising as it may be to some people, a lot of pop artists
Okay.
I'm really influenced by. Like some people that are, you know, into music theory, music structure, writing music, whatever, producing, they can tell that our songs are primarily structured with a, you know, contemporary pop format.
That's crazy.
You know, like
yeah.
intro, verse, pre-chorus,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, very easy to memorize and, you know, sing along to. But we try to take, you know, that kind of influence and structure and apply it, obviously, like a lot of bands do, to heavy music. And it's made for what I hope to be a very memorable and strong sound for the album.
Yeah.
You know, outside of like the cool sounds we make and the melodies and all the other stuff that makes Bad Omens, you know, outside influences that are no way affiliated with metalcore or metal or heavy music really make it unique. Like my lyrics, I influence a lot of my like heavier lyrics by like a lot of rap songs. Biggest J. Cole fan you're probably ever gonna meet.
You know, I heard something interesting. One of my friends who's a fan of rap said, he said, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of trap music, the drums are actually coming from metal style drums or something
trap
like that.
Music is literally just a breakdown without a rhythm guitar. You know,
that's pretty crazy.
It's insane.
Now, where did the name Bad Omens come from?
Bad Omens. It was actually Bad Omens. You know, Bad Omens. He does a way better Walkin impression.
Do it real quick. Do it.
Bad Omens is so great. I met these guys about a week ago. Wow, fantastic.
Oh man. The song Glass Houses, our first single, that was originally called Bad Omens.
Okay.
And this band was called Man vs. Self. I wasn't a big fan of the name. The rest of the guys weren't. Sumerian wasn't like too into it. They liked it, but we were like, you know, we could do something better. Like we're not, you know, big to the point that our name is stuck yet.
Yeah.
So we were like going through a million ideas, and we probably settled on 5 before we settled on. I keep saying settled, so we probably went through like 5 before we finally agreed on Bad Omens.
Okay.
Just because I like the way it sounds. We're all into like very, you know, witchy things. You know, kind of cryptic, kind of spooky. But still tasteful, you know, it's not too metal.
Yeah.
It could, you know, it sounds to me like when I first heard the word Bad Omens, it sounded like an old school, like, rock band.
Yeah.
You know, and I liked that a lot. And I thought it was, you know, more unique than some other names that we had and some other bands that I'm into. So
it really, I think the thing I like the most about it, just like Noah touched on, is it was the first name that as soon as we heard it, we were like, man, that's us. Like, it was the first thing that just, like, really captured what we were trying to go for musically, as well as, like, our own personal and individual styles.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. So going to some touring questions here. One thing I've been talking to a lot of bands this year, because, like, it's sad that a lot of bands, especially younger bands such as yourselves, have to put up with, like, your stuff getting broken into and stolen and that kind of thing. So What are some, if it hasn't happened to you yet, like what are some things you guys are consciously doing to try to prevent that from happening?
I love this question because that's the worst thing that can happen to a touring band.
Yeah.
Especially like in our position, like we're an opener, so we're still struggling to like climb up to the top. You
Yeah.
know? And first thing is first, make sure one of your members has a bank account, and as soon as you can, like deposit all your cash into a bank, like a separate account, so you can keep it separate from your finances or
Yeah.
however you run your band. But make sure that you are carrying the least amount of cash as possible, because sometimes getting broken into is unavoidable.
Yeah.
So you want to have a fail-safe in the event that if you get broken into, you're going to lose the least amount of things.
Yeah.
So we always try to bring all of our personal belongings, like computers and stuff and book bags, into the venue when there's
Yeah.
dressing rooms. And as far as cash goes from the tour, we always try to, keep as much in the bank as possible.
Yeah.
So the most they get away with is like a safe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I heard that recently a band called Rome got robbed for the second time, and they're sleeping in the van, and I think someone put gas in there somehow to
I
put
read
put
that article.
yeah, they put them
Really?
asleep, and they still robbed them.
That is
So they were
that's
sleeping in the
like-
van, and they still got robbed.
That happened
some
in
like
France.
high criminal
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, somewhere I don't know where it happened, but they
It
were.
happens a lot. Like
Yeah.
I think this year it happened to our friends in Gideon.
Yeah, it's something to
that-
Gideon,
yeah,
Rival Choir,
Silent
recently
Planet.
Silent Planet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like a couple days
Awful.
ago.
Literally,
Yeah.
like that is
All right.
That's my best advice is cover your ass in the event you get robbed, that they get away with the least.
Yeah. And one last serious one for getting some fun ones here. Being a smaller band, how do you guys manage finances? You kind of hinted at it a little bit. How do you manage finances so you don't run your band into the ground or run your band into debt?
I love this question too because our manager, he's a great businessman, a great manager. Like really, he is the definition of a true manager. A lot of bands have managers, and it's like, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
But he's taught me a lot as far as like financial management, like entrepreneurship, marketing, like things past finances. He's taught me, but I read a lot of books
Mhm.
about financial tracking and financial management. I have apps where I document like our sales and stuff like that, and our expenses, income, whatever. So not only can I have analytics and
Yeah.
data to like kind of learn like, okay, this city we did this, or like this tour we spent way too much on gas or hotels, whatever. And honestly, it's just being very conscious of the choices you're making and documenting everything, most
Yeah.
importantly. Because there's been nights like we all hang out too late at the venue, we don't have time to like write down everything we sold, but
Yeah.
we document it all in the Square app.
Mhm.
So we can go back later and say, okay, we sold this, and we can put it in our
Yeah.
drafts and all that
Okay.
stuff. So.
I got a fun one for you. You said you're a pop fan. I'm assuming you're a fan of some pop music too.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is my favorite question to ask. If you guys could hang out with, date, marry, or do whatever you wanted to Taylor Swift, and she wrote a song about you, what would it be called and what would it be about?
You want to do this one first? This is a really interesting question. I love Taylor Swift, first of all. I'd like to say that.
Yeah, for example, mine would be called He Stayed because once I got her, I'd never leave her. So
Damn.
that'd be mine. Yeah.
I'm mad you beat me to that answer.
That girl's too much of a sweetheart for me, man. I think that if she were to write a song about me, it'd just be called The Letdown. That's what I'm thinking.
I would like to think that we would write a song together.
Okay.
I don't know what it would be called. Probably Glad Omens.
Glad I
Because I would be stoked to not only be married to Taylor Swift, but to write a song with her.
Okay. Yeah. And if Fearless Records called you guys up and said, we want you guys to do a Punk Goes Disney cover, what Disney song would you cover?
The Lion King.
The Lion King?
For
Which
sure.
one?
The
specific one?
oh, man. I just can't
Okay.
wait to be
Okay.
king.
Yeah.
My
This is the
la-
first time I've asked this question, by the way, so
Yeah,
congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah, my last band actually had a talk about the similar question.
Yeah.
And that was the song we wanted to cover, and I think that would be a sick song because lyrically I relate to that. Like I'm constantly working and struggling trying to make it,
Yeah.
and I want to be king.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to hear someone do the whole roar part, work on
Yeah.
and just have it like
Yeah,
really
dude.
loud and heavy.
Lion
But,
King for sure.
While we wait for your album, you guys should just do that and just to toss it out there.
What would you do? What Disney song do you think?
Man, I'm actually a really big fan of like the Aladdin series.
Okay.
Like A Whole New World is just that's got my name all over it, bud.
All right. All right, sweet.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you want to say to the fans or promote before we close it out?
Yes. We are Bad Omens. We are on the Sumerian Records 10-year tour, and we are out right now with Era, Upon a Burning Body, After the Burial, and Born of Osiris. All these bands, the last Sumerian 10-year tour, Velamaya was there. I don't want to forget them. These are our first 2 tours, and I genuinely want to thank all these bands for being cool to us and, treating us well, like letting us drink their beer sometimes and, partying with them and everything they've done. The label, like our manager, our agent, like everyone. We write the songs, but it's not easy, that's not all it takes. There's a lot of politics and business behind it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just thank all those guys and the bands for, having our backs and making it a team because, without other people, like you're just by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'd also like to thank you guys. This has been a really unique and cool interview.
Thank you. Thank you. I like hearing that.
It's been fun. It's really good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, and my last shout out would be the Hot Taco, this badass Mexican
Yeah, thanks to Hot
restaurant.
Tacos for letting us eat here.
Thank you for letting us shoot an interview here.
Well,
and
eat here or
eat
shoot here.
tacos.
Yeah, shoot here.
Beautiful
And everything.
decor.
Beautiful decor. Yeah.
All right, man. This is Jeremy with SoutheastSpiritReport.com and hanging out here with Bad Omens at Hot Taco.
Thank you, guys.